everybody sang, and they were seated, and it was his turn to sing again. And he always planted himself in his chair, you know, when he sang. He started to sing, and then he said, I think he started the same song. And so he stopped, and he said, oh, I'm sorry. And the other people thought, well, he'd just forgotten the words. And then his head dropped down like that. And he died.
Oh my gosh.
And he was sitting there in the chair, and it actually made the national news. And they were playing his music on PBS.
Oh, wow. How glorious.
Yeah, every singer-songwriter wants to die that way.
Yes, I can see that.
This is called The Women Cross the River. Oh, the women cross the river, carry water to the well at break of day. They talk to one another, God only knows what they might say. You might get an education after years of dedication. You might find to catch a glimpse of what is right and what is wrong. But the women crossed the river, they knew that all along. Oh, the women crossed the river, work with tools that are ancient and handmade. They plow their fields in perfect rows, then rest beneath the shade. Now we've learned to build out of concrete, out of steel, and our buildings last 1,000 years, but then even they are bound to fall. Women cross the river, never learned to build a wall. Well, the women cross the river are as gentle as dew upon the ground. How I love to hear them laughing in the rain when it makes that perfect sound. Now a soldier with a gun and a battle to be won might kill you with a bullet, and you'll never even know the reason why. Women cross the river, they can kill you with their eyes. Women cross the river, they can kill you with their eyes.
You know, anyone that is not aware of the chaos that's going on in our world right now is probably living in a cave on top of a Himalayan mountain somewhere. You can't avoid it. That's all there is to it. I don't watch the news, read a newspaper, or follow a news feed on the computer, but I know what's going on. I may not know all the gory details, which I don't want to know. But what I do know is that our world is not well right now. We are all feeling the effects of our outer world's fear-based chaos. So what are we, those of us who have found a better way of life for ourselves, to do? What are we to do to feel safe? I find that strengthening my faith-based spiritual path through all this rubble that's being created to be helpful. And And I want to share some of that with you this morning. I heard a quote a few days ago from a man named Jon Kabat-Zinn that was a really good metaphor for accepting and navigating life's inevitable challenges by developing and strengthening skills like mindfulness and resilience rather than resisting them. Here's what he said. We can't stop the waves, but we can learn how to surf. We can't stop the waves, but we can learn how to surf. Come on in, Linda. I'm doing this with, I need you here. You make two. I don't know where the third one is. I was introduced to this man's work early on in my spiritual path with his book, Wherever You Go, There You Are. I love the work, but it's been sitting on my bookshelf for a long time, unattended. I've lost touch with some of those practices, and I think it's time for me to reread it again. For I'm not the same person that I was the first time I read it, and I will see it with fresh eyes as I go through it this time. And I'm going on a plane trip to Phoenix, Arizona, which will be a great time to do that. In fact, I did that on a trip to Arizona before. Oh, I digress. It's so easy for me to go down a rabbit hole when something catches my attention. Curiosity is what does that for me. And interestingly enough, curiosity is one of the 3 C's of meditation taught by Jon Kabat-Zinn, along with compassion and connectedness. Let's take a quick look at these 3 aspects of mindfulness. The first one is, as I said, curiosity. So what is it? What is curiosity? It is approaching situations and your own internal experiences with a beginner's mind. Being open and understanding rather than making quick judgments. I like that. I like that. But how do we do that? Ask questions about your thoughts and feelings. And don't be afraid. Did you hear me? Don't be afraid to say, I don't know. It doesn't make you bad, wrong, or stupid. Observe the details of your environment and interactions with genuine interest. The second C is compassion. So what is that? It's extending kindness, warmth, and understanding towards yourself and others, especially during these challenging times. So how do we practice that? Acknowledge your struggles with self-compassion, recognizing that you are doing your best. Did you hear me? Be kind to yourself. Practice empathy and understand others' perspectives, even when they are difficult. And the third one is connectedness. What is that? It's building meaningful connections with yourself and others, which is essential for thriving. And so how do we practice that? Listen fully and engage authentically with others. Be fully present in your interactions, fostering a sense of connection to the moment and to those around you. By putting these three qualities into your daily life, you can strengthen your mindfulness practice and build mental strength, resilience, and a deeper connection to your experience. Using the 3 C's changes my approach to affirmative prayer, which is my topic for today. Finally got there for you, and it is very helpful for me if I can remember those 3 things. I'm not saying that it is a panacea for all the feelings that come up when I learn about another incident of man's inhumanity to man. Affirmative prayer is the way that we in Unity acknowledge as the most effective method of prayer. In the Revealing Word, Charles Fillmore, co-founder of Unity, has this to say about prayer. He said, prayer is communication between God and man. Prayer is the most highly accelerated mind action known. It is the language of spirituality. Prayer is more than supplication. It is an affirmation of truth that eternally exists. I have come to love this definition of prayer. I learned as a small child that little scripture thing that says, ask and ye shall receive. I learned the meaning of it was supplication, begging God to fix whatever I thought was wrong or to change another person to suit my wants. I thought I was wrong. When I was introduced to the practice of affirmative prayer, my life changed. It is the language of spirituality. And I understood ask and ye shall receive in a totally different way. It's all about the asking. It's all about the asking. When we affirm what we already know to be truth as children of God, then there's no need for beseeching or begging. We just claim what is already ours in this moment. What do I need? What aspect of God within me do I need for this situation? And it's like Fillmore said, it is an affirmation of truth that eternally exists. Trying to think. Probably in 2024, Reverend Linda Martella Whitsitt and Reverend Deanne Weir Morrissey, using some of Charles Fillmore's works from the archives at Unity Village and the 12 Powers of Man that he wrote a book called Discover Your Divinity, a modern guide to affirmative prayer. It's different, and we'll look at that in just a minute. And I do believe it's probably the best book written in this 21st century on this subject. As I said earlier, as children of God, it is for us to claim what is ours through divine inheritance, which is affirmative prayer. Utilizing the 12 powers of man, Reverend Linda and Reverend Deanne, has spelled out for us what they are and how easy it is to claim the power needed for the situation at hand. Their affirmative, excuse me, their affirmative prayer flow that they created follows the 5-step prayer practice that the Fillmores developed, and it is the way that, as far as I know, Unity students of today were taught to pray. I'm going to go over those five step prayer practice, the one that the Fillmores created. And your handout will become helpful as I go through this. The one that I love having a room full of people and not enough handouts. We'll get you another one if you want it. I can send it to you. Because I want you to be able to see the similarities and the differences. And while the 5-step prayer practice is not on that handout, you will see a little grid at the bottom that shows how it's different. Or is it on there? I don't have one in front of me. Tim, let me see yours, honey. Yeah, you've got it. The first step in this 5-step prayer practice is relaxation. In that, you breathe deeply and focus within. Become willing to know a truth that frees you from all concerns. And the how-to is to take deep, conscious breaths as you relax your body and release busy thoughts. Feel your heart opening up. Second step is concentration. Recognize the power of God as life, love, wisdom, and ever-present good. The how-to is to center your thoughts on the ever-present energy of God in your life. You might want to inhale, God is. Exhale, I am. The third one is meditation. In silent reflection, see the power of God is the same power within you, your divine potential. How we do this is in the silence. Experience the power of your own divinity, knowing that you share all of the attributes of God: love, strength, wisdom. The fourth one is realization. Know that you have the power to be, to do, to have, and to allow the good you deserve. This is done by feeling a click as everything falls into place, and you know all is well. Regardless of outer circumstances, it is done. And the fifth one is appreciation. I told you we'd talk about it again. Grateful for your growing spiritual awareness, you are empowered to live fully now and into a fulfilling future. And this is done by empowering your life with every expression of gratitude. And if you can remember even parts of that opening prayer, that I read for you to open this service, that was a perfect example of this 5-step prayer practice. I could read it again, but I'm not going to. It's in this little book right here, Mornings with Myrtle. I love that, and I keep trying to remember to go by the church in New Braunfels and get you guys copies of it, but I didn't get there this week. I'll try again next time. So, now let's compare the affirmative prayer flow. And from my perspective, it is, as the subtitle of Discover Your Divinity states, it is a modern guide to affirmative prayer. Reverends Linda and Deanna have outlined 5 movements of affirmative prayer in such a way to show similarities in the 2 methods in a guide showing the action, movements, and historical steps. That's what's in that little section down toward the bottom. And I'm going to try to talk my way through that, and you guys all have it there. Everybody has a copy. That's cool. The first action is I open to new possibilities. The second one is God is. The third is I am. Fourth, I can, I have, I know. Fifth, I appreciate the shift in consciousness. The movements are opening, recognition, integration, realization, and appreciation. The original steps are relaxation, concentration, meditation, realization, and gratitude. They're very similar, but they're different. And as you can see, they are different in scope. From their perspective, affirmative prayer is a progression of movements that flow toward a new awareness. Taking the foundational principles that support affirmative prayer is easy to see the flow. I open to a new understanding, recognizing God is, integrating I am, realizing I can, appreciate, oh goodness, my tongue. Let's take a closer look at these 5 movements. Everybody with me? Movement 1 is I open. I open is creating a space in consciousness for something new. It is consciously cultivating a state of willingness in which we are able to remember the truth, the capital T truth of our divine identity. The potential is the opening statement of prayer in our consciousness, opening up to truth rather than getting God's attention. Movement 2, recognize God is. In this movement, we are recognizing and naming the divine principles that we are seeking to realign with and activate in our lives. God is recognizes